Hey, so I decided to run a little quick meeting, a little Q&A, something very simple for those of you who are doing digital workouts that have been pre-recorded, or even if you're taking them live from companies such as Peloton, Beachbody, Glow, Obey. There's a bunch of them out there, right? So they're not predispositioned for core instability and dysfunction, nor are they approved, which doesn't like, there's no approval, there's no stamp, okay, but I wouldn't recommend them necessarily for beginning stages of recovery for diastasis recti. Now, that being said, you can still be successful on these platforms, but here's what I want you to keep in mind. I have a program called the ABC method, and it's called that for a reason. A is for alignment, B is for breathing, C is for core engagement. And that is my proprietary method that nobody else is allowed to have. But if you keep thinking those three things in whatever movement you're doing, whether it's in fitness, whether it's in life, then you can continue to recover your diastasis. Now, none of these programs address recovery. So make sure that you're real clear on that. A recovery program is different from a fitness program that you're working on, that you want to keep moving forward in your fitness. You want to be safe in it. You need to perhaps have some adjustments to that fitness, but it's not a recovery program. So I really recommend doing both, a recovery program and fitness. And if you want to do both, I offer both in some of my plans. Just take a look at carryfit.com, choose one that works for you. And you can also do my recovery plans and do Peloton, Beachbody, whatever. But like I said, you have to abide by the ABCs. And here's what I mean by that. Alignment means literally a line. So alignment, line from top to bottom. If you are standing, that means top of the head, over the ear, over the head of the shoulder, over all of the ribs, over the top of the pelvis, over the thigh bone. And the belly is always drawing in and up. Rib cage stays over the pelvis, not in front of and not behind. Okay. Shoulder placement, pressing the shoulder blades down the back, never rolled forward. Okay. That's good alignment. Does that matter? It matters a lot. If those pieces are out of whack, the core cannot function the way that it should. Piece number 2 is breathing. Okay, so we breathe into the lungs. Lungs live under your rib cage. They do not live down here. They live up here. Okay. When we're talking about diaphragmatic breathing, that means allowing the diaphragm to expand and contract. The diaphragm lives right under the ribs, which is right here, not down here. So if you're breathing into your lungs, excuse me, it will allow the diaphragm to expand and contract. So the easiest way to find that is to put your hands at your ribs with the thumbs at the lowest point of the ribs that you can find in your back, shoulders pulled down and back. Breathe into your thumbs. When you feel those ribs expand back here, you're getting into the diaphragm. Okay, so ribs should expand in 360 degrees all the way around without shrugging your shoulders and without the belly going out and in. So that allows for that piston effect, which is also good for your pelvic floor and for core stability. Element number 3 is core engagement. So we keep the core engaged while we're doing exercise or movement. And that simply means feeling like all of this is drawn in and up. So your internal mechanism of bringing everything together is activated. And that is the lowest and deepest tissue that you can find with your mind's eye, which sometimes takes some practice, bringing that up and in, feeling that engagement happen all the way around your body on your inhale and on your exhale. So I want to mention a couple of things that are specific to fitness and diastasis recti. When you're first starting getting recovery, if you're taking a recovery course or you're working with a therapist or something and you're at the beginning phases of figuring this stuff out, it is a good idea to take out things like sit-ups and crunches. When you're laying on your back on the floor, keep your head and your shoulders on the floor. And that also means getting to the floor means rolling onto your side and then onto your back, and then the opposite as you come back up. While you're laying there on your back on the floor, keep a foot or a leg on the floor for an anchor. You can lift one leg, but not both. Okay, so anything that's double legs on the floor, you adjust it to 2. Flip that over, and we've got plank style work. Always put at least one knee down in every kind of plank. Say it with me. Always put at least one knee down in every kind of plank. So that means if you are, for instance, doing planks this way, that you can have your knees here right underneath the hips, which is where I recommend starting from if you're starting your recovery process. And then as you get stronger, we adjust to the half plank position, which is back here, really drawn in up on that core. It's really actually very difficult. And then you start moving towards getting into a full plank, but not until you are working through that recovery system and you understand how to get there safely. All right. Then another element that I always talk about is twisting. So when you're first starting your recovery, you don't want to do extreme twists from the center of your body, and you definitely don't want to do weighted twists from the center of your body. So keeping this element intact is really important, especially in the beginning. And then finally, do not hang from a bar. In other words, like this, do not hang from a bar, do not do lat pull downs or other kinds of pull downs. And really what I tell people when they're starting a recovery program is to keep the shoulder work here and below. So all of this is very easy to control with your core and keep it stable. But as soon as you start to raise the hand above the shoulder, we start compromising that feeling. And one of the worst things with a recovery process is to try to do a pull-up. That will really put undue stress on the core muscles. So just take those out. There's a million other things that you can do. Now, if you are riding a bike, doing anything cardiovascular, really keep that alignment, breathing, core engagement thing in mind, because it takes a little bit of practice to get those 3 elements while you're so busy focusing on cardiovascular activity. And a big one is being on a bike. So a lot of times, I don't have a stationary bike from home, so I'm just going to pretend. A lot of times when we're on our bike, we start to hunch forward and maybe even lean on the handlebars just to try to get through it. And you see how bad that rounding of my spine is. And I can feel it in my core. My ribs are pushing on my core muscles, which is pushing them outward. We don't want that. We want this nice long line here, right? So if I'm riding a bike, I'm transferring that exact same line to be on the bike. Now, I know it makes you feel like you're on a beach cruiser, but for right now, it's just a whole lot better for you all the way around. It allows for better breathing, better core engagement, keeps the pressure off the lower back. There's 1,000 reasons why to do it that way, but please do it that way. If you are walking or running, just keep in mind that you need to be able to have a solid breath pattern that works for you and maintain that good alignment. A lot of times, the more we walk, the more we run, the more we start to do this. So pull those shoulders back and down, really work on pulling that alignment up. Those are the first things that I tell people when I get started with them, and they apply across the board. It doesn't matter whether you walk into a class tomorrow, it doesn't matter whether you try a new app tomorrow. None of that matters. All of those things apply, especially if you're brand new. And if you are brand new, I really highly recommend doing some kind of recovery program or process. I, of course, recommend mine because they are based on the ABC method, which is my proprietary method that I've been using for over a decade. And not only do I lead you through the process, but then I help you develop it. So as you start to recover, you start to learn when you can start doing planks, sit-ups, twists, like you start to ease back into those elements of your life while your core is getting stronger and more stable all the time. That's what we want, right? Okay, well, if you have any questions for me, just let me know. I wanted to pop in and give you that information. I think it's valuable and important information. And hey, I have a book about it too. So check out Flatten My Postpartum Belly. It is available on Amazon. If you are a teacher or instructor and you want to be an ABC method teacher or instructor, that is my precious program that I have right now. Talk to me about becoming an ABC method instructor, then you can use this program and plan for your classes or on your tech apps or however it is that you're training and teaching people right now. It will change everything. Okay, I'll talk to you later.